Laura Peters here from Dublin, Ireland, and I'm going to show you how to make your very first card. I've been making cards for about 18 years now, so it can be a little bit difficult for me to remember what it's like to be a beginner. So if you have any questions, please comment below, and while you're there, why don't you like and subscribe to my page. So I'm going to do my best to remember how to make a first card. Now, I'm going to be using all Stampin' Up! Products because I'm a Stampin' Up! Independent demonstrator here. So first, we're going to start with a piece of whispered white cardstock. Technically, we can start with any color we want, but white is probably the first thing you're going to buy because you can do so much with it. Okay, so we've got one piece of A4 cardstock. Now, I get tired of having to calculate every time, so I've actually marked my paper trimmer here, which if you don't have a paper trimmer, you can get away with scissors, drawing a straight line with a ruler. I don't feel like I can never cut straight with scissors. So I love my paper trimmer, use it on every project. So here I've got marked, this is the, let's see, this is about 105.5 millimeters is the halfway point going this direction. And I've got 149-ish millimeters halfway point here. I hate the math on this. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is my paper trimmer has two blades here. The dark one cuts, the light one scores. Means it just makes a dent, basically. So I'm going to go to the halfway point here, line my paper up. Can you see that it made an indent? You might be able to see better on this side. That's going to be our fold line. Okay, now I'm going to go halfway here, line it up. When you're cutting with the scoring tool, with the paper trimmer, you want to move this blade fast. It doesn't have to be speedy, but if you go slow like this, you're more likely to shred your paper. But if you go fast, you get a much cleaner cut. I also prefer to go this direction. Well, towards a stopper. You can line it up on either end, but I prefer to go towards the stopping end because it holds your paper in place. If you do it like this, you can see how the paper can scoot if you're not holding it properly, but this way it just pushes it against the block. So there's step one, cutting our paper. Okay, you're going to save this one for another project. This one, we're going to fold it along the score line. Line your card up to the corners, but see how easily that folded there? Didn't make any weird creases, so that's why we do the score line. Now, the next thing I do is check it on both sides. This one looks pretty good on both sides. Sometimes one edge will overhang a little bit, or it might have folded a little bit crooked. Just pick your best looking side to be up. Okay, now I want to show you a few different techniques here, meaning stamping and gluing. So we're going to put this aside for a moment and come to our scrap paper here. Now today I'm using the Hello Beautiful stamp set. I like this because it fits in my hexagon folders, but that's for another day. Die cuts, not folders. But I love some of these sentiments. Like, you've got generic ones. Thank you, you know. Okay, well, that's the only generic one. Look at this. I miss your face. First of all, you're amazing. Hello, beautiful. So happy to know you, and this calls for a celebration. So I really like the sentiments here. Also, these look like kind of, gives you kind of a watercoloring effect here. These are our photopolymer stamp sets. For more information on the two different types of stamp sets, techniques on inking, and that kind of thing, I have a separate video for that. Okay, so we're just gonna dive in here. You need an acrylic block to mount these stamp sets to. So we are going to use, I forgot what I wanted to do here. I think I want to use this one because we're going to do a long phrase. So first thing I'm going to do, peel it off, set it on the table to let it rest for a second, because sometimes when you're peeling them off, you can distort it a little bit and it'll spring back in place. All you have to do is touch it to the block and it sticks beautifully. Okay, so we're going to stamp, move it around a little bit, check to see if it's inked evenly. It is not. So let's try that again. Sometimes if it doesn't ink well, I will twist it. You can see that grabbed a lot more ink that time, so just keep until you're evenly inked. There we go. You do not want to squish it down into the pad. You just tap, 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 and move it around. Okay, so I'm using this like a piece of scrap. So I'm just going to Yoink. Do not wobble it, just press down firmly, okay? And we've got our background. Now, next thing is clean your stamp, okay? So this is my preferred way of cleaning. These are the ones I've had for like 18 years, and I just keep refilling this. So if you buy a new one, it'll look a little different. But the Stamp & Scrub and the Stamp & Mist, you give it a little spray. I always have this side with a bump is my wash, and this is my dry. So I'm gonna wash it. If it's really inky stamp, I will stamp it like this on a piece of scrap paper first to get it off. Nice and clean. Now we can put it away. Next thing I want to do, I think, So Happy to Know You. Here we go. So you really want to pick the appropriate size block for your stamp. This one, I have many different sizes of stamps. I'm sorry, I have acrylic blocks. And the closer you are to the stamp, the less likely you are to get ink on the side. So I'm actually going to switch this out for this block. Now, if you only have one block, that's fine. You just have to be careful not to rock it. There we go. See, it fits much better. It's crooked on the block, it doesn't matter. I can see through. I can see where I'm stamping. We got that nice and dark. Okay. So happy to know you. There we go. Looks a little dark. Maybe next time we'll use a lighter color. In fact, you know what? Let's just redo that now. Now this will lighten as it dries. But I'm afraid it might still be too dark. So we are going to just redo that. Okay, so this is just a lighter shade of blue. Oh, inked up much better the second time around. I think this is the first time I've used this stamp. Okay. Also, something to note, if you make a mistake, you can just flip the paper over and use the back side. Okay, so this is our Memento black ink. Okay. There we go. I like the way that shows up much better. Okay. Make sure you cover your ink pads as soon as you're done with them. You don't want them drying out. Clean off our stamps again. Great. Moving on. So next thing I want to do is I'm going to cut this again, because layering is a very simple way to make your card look much more interesting. So I am just going to eyeball these first couple of cuts here. So that looks good. Oh, my blade fell out. There we go. And it doesn't even matter if it's a bit crooked because it's a bit of an asymmetrical stamp anyways. So I'm just eyeballing these cuts here to see what looks good. Lining it up with this. Lining it up with this right here. Except, wait, where did I start cutting? And then I cut that one, so I need to cut this, the edges that are straight. Okay. There we go, last one. I'm pretty happy with that. So now I want to put a piece of color of cardstock behind it just to make it look more interesting. Now the way I usually do this is my default for layering is 5 millimeters. So what I will do is measure how long this is. Let's see, we've got 57 millimeters here. So I'm going to add 5 to that. So I'm going to cut this at 62, 61, 62. I hope that's on camera. Okay. And now I'm going to measure this other side, which is 28. So we're going to make that 33. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I find that 5 millimeters just gives you a nice little border all the way around. Okay. So now we're going to talk about gluing. So we're going to bring our cover back in here. I got a rogue rhinestone there. This is the glue that I recommend. The Tombow Mono liquid glue. Multi-purpose liquid glue. So I just do a nice, it's got two ends. I always use this end. This other end has got a wide flat tip. I feel like I waste glue using that. So I always use this end. I put the glue in a nice thin layer all the way around, but not too close to the edge, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm just gonna pop this bad boy down here. And you can see I didn't place it evenly to start with. So we're just gonna scooch it. And if you put the glue all the way to the edge, when you scooch it, you end up with glue on the outside. So this gives you a nice secure image, but without making a gluey mess. Okay, so we're gonna wanna cover this up as soon as we're done because this is, they call it two-way glue. Oh, that looks, you can see much better on the pink. See, didn't mean to go that far over. Because if you let it air dry first, it will turn tacky like a Post-it note. Okay. So we can leave the card like that. We can call this just a clean and simple card, but I want to jazz it up a little bit. So we're going to take out some of our other stamps. Oh no, what did I do? Okay, so let's choose a couple other things. This one has all kinds of interesting just shapes. Kind of little design elements here. So I'm going to do some kissy X's. And I brought out a third color here because I really like all the colors from this colored family. Okay. You see how I inked it there, but I didn't get any ink on the block? Because I chose such a big block for this stamp, it's very easy to get ink here. If you do that, just make sure that you wipe it off before you go to your card. So I'm gonna do a couple of these. Whoops. Okay, I'm just winging it here. Where's my cleaner? And we're going to, let's see what else. These ones are kind of cool. I'm going to do this in the blue. Put these over here. What do you think? I'm doing 3 of everything, aren't I? I tend to like 3s. It's your brain, someone told me once that your brain is happier when it sees groups of 3s, or odd numbers rather. And let's get the pink out too. I'm gonna mix a little pink in here. Like I said, just kind of winging it. Just trying to jazz the card up a little bit. Should we do one more? I think so. What now? I've got this little, Sorry, I'm wasting your time here, aren't I? So let's just pick something and go with it. This little flower looking thing. We're gonna do a flower. I'm gonna do it over here in this corner, make sure we're nice and inked. And there was a little center dot. Do you want to say hi? My son is coming in. He wants to see what's going on. Do you want to say hi?
Yeah, can I help you?
Sure, look. Do you want to put the leaves on this flower? Here.
Sure, wait.
Go ahead.
This on your left hand.
Okay.
Right here?
No, here, I'm handing it to you. There you go.
Right here?
Yeah, I think it needs 2 leaves, so why don't you ink it again? Oh, there you go. And now see, here's an example where we got some of the ink on the block, so we're just gonna take a piece of scrap paper here and wipe it off. And then it's less likely to get on our card. Okay, ready? Put another leaf like on the other side, I think. Yeah? Beautiful. Now one more thing. We are going to put a middle for our flower.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah, of course you can. Now I'm going to ink this one because see I put that tiny little stamp on this big old block, so I got to be very careful. There we go. Okay, put that right in the middle of the flower. Well, you know what? We're just going to cover that up with another flower.
Mom,
Yes.
wait, can I do something?
Oh, in a minute.
I want to draw something on the card.
There we go. What do you think? Is
Cool.
it done?
No.
What does it need?
What's that? Wait, is that supposed to be a C?
It does kind of look like a C. I was just trying to make interesting shapes. What do you think?
Cool. Can I have a pen?
No, we're not going to do that for this one because we're trying to show just basic stuff. So what we did was we cut, we stamped, and we glued.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
and that's the skills that we need for a basic card. So this one might not be my most beautiful card ever, but it did show you how to make things, right? We need another leaf
yeah, Mom.
because we made a mistake. So I'll tell you, these are great. Mistakes are just opportunities for creativeness. Now we have 3 leaves. What do you think?
Mom,
Yes,
I said something. Can we make another card?
we can make another card. Okay, so that's it for this card. So we showed you how to cut. We showed you how to make the basic card base.
Okay.
We showed you how to stamp, and we showed you how to glue. All right.
Yep.
So
No.
what do you want to show them next?
A different card.
A different card. Okay, tune back in for a different card. Bye.